Hi, this is a video on how to analyze the results from the stock screen in Equities Lab. As usual, we'll be starting from the homepage of Equities Lab. First, create a new screen. And we're just going to use our usual value screen that screens for stocks between 0 and 10 PE. When you hit go, you're going to get all the stocks that pass through this screen today. So today is December 22nd, 2014. So these stocks were filtered on today, and these are the stocks that get through. Just click somewhere up here and it gets rid of that results overview rectangle over here. The results are sorted by industry. So you can see the energy stocks over here, technology over here, financial, basic material, and so on and so forth. You can zoom in on any of these subgroups by simply right-clicking and clicking on the zoom in button. And so you're going to see all these stocks over here. I don't know what these unknowns are. So among basic materials, for example, Cleveland Cliffs is a producer of iron ore pellets. When you click on each of these names, you can get more information on them. And you can also get external links to Google, Motley Fool, so on and so forth on those names. But for now, I'm just going to zoom back out and do some analysis on the results. So when you click results breakdown at the bottom, you're going to get a bunch of pie charts. And the pie charts will summarize the stocks that pass through the screen. So for example, in terms of market capitalization, more than half the stocks are microcap. So most of the stocks in it are microcaps, as I mentioned. There's some small caps, and then the remainder are larger capitalization firms. In terms of market beta, there's a pretty broad mix. So there's some high beta stocks. Remember, beta is how sensitive these stocks are to the overall market. Some very high beta stocks, and then some low and very low beta stocks. And so on and so forth for the entire range of metrics that are here. I'm just going to focus on one more here, which is the PE. So note, because we're screening on PE, only low and very low PE stocks will get through the screen. So as opposed to a lot of the other pie charts where you have a wide range of stocks that get through, here only low and very low PE stocks will get through. The next thing I want to point out is the results table. So when you click on the results table, you're simply going to get every stock that passes through the screen. So at the top of the list, you're going to have some massive stocks like PetroChina and Chevron and Verizon and AT&T. But as you get to the bottom of the list, you're going to have some really, really tiny companies in here. And companies where even the companies are unknown. That's a little bit weird to me. But in general, you want to have a filter for market capitalization. You do not want to be investing in these sort of no-name companies. And typically in later screens, we will have a filter to get rid of stocks with a market cap of less than, call it $100 million or something along those lines. Okay, let's go back to our original set of results. Now, one thing you'll notice is all of these tickers are kind of in gray. Now, the reason for that is we are looking at the returns on the stock on the same day that we're filtering the stock. So one thing we can do with Equities Lab is we can actually create a filter sometime back in the past. So let's say 3 months back in the past, And what Equities Lab will do is it will run this screen 0 to 10 PE 3 months ago, and it will show us the returns on stocks in the screen 3 months ago from September 22nd to December 22nd. And when it does that, it will also put in these nice little colors, so we'll get a sense of which sectors are outperforming and underperforming. So in this case, we can very easily see that energy has been a massive drag on our portfolio. Financials have been relatively okay, and some of the technology names have also been hit pretty hard. The reason, by the way, that energy has been hit so badly is because oil prices have just been free falling for these last 3 months. So if, for example, we wanted to get a sense of how these industries did separately during this period, we could go to this tab called Results by Category, and here we'd see the average returns for the portfolio of 0 to 10 PE stocks broken out by category, and as it turns out, technology actually did really well, energy did badly, and the rest were kind of mixed. Now again, this default sorting is by sector. We could change that by clicking on it, and you could simply have market cap or any other thing that you want to sort by. In this case, let's choose market cap. And if you notice, they have this how many buckets category, and what that means is you'll divide it by divide market cap by this many buckets. So let's say I put in 7 buckets. Let's see what happens. Okay, nothing happened, probably because I gave a list as well. So let's get rid of this list. And all right, there you go. So it's divided the world into 7 buckets. So we have SPY, which is the market as a whole, the average, and then you have small caps all the way to mega caps. And it's simply done this bucketing dynamically. So you don't have to really build the buckets yourself. And you can do that with any of the other criteria that are there. So you could do it with betas and institutional ownership and so on and so forth. And finally, there's another way to interpret results, and that's with a scatter plot. And this takes the returns for each stock as a single point. And so this is the return over these 3 months for AmTrust Financial Services, and plots those returns across some categories. So in this case, it's market cap. So what we were doing here in a bar chart form, this does in a little bit of a more graphical form. So if you wanted, for example, to change the x-axis, you could change it to something like beta. So this is the distribution of the stocks that made it through the screens, their betas, and this is how they performed over these 3 months. Equities Lab fits a sort of graph into it. Now, I mean, in this particular case, I don't see much of a pattern really, but it so happens that the average slope is kind of a slight inverted U-shape. But you know, it's easier for you to just eyeball it and get a sense of what's going on. Anyway, these are just some of the various analyses that you can do once you've run your stock screener. Go play around by yourself, have a look at what you can do, and then we can continue on to the back tests and do more analysis.